I didn't realize that there were so many of you here. Thank you so much. It is great to be here, and thank you, Gail, for that wonderful introduction. She has just been a tremendous support, a friend to me and Barack for so long, and we're so grateful to her. I want to thank the Women's Leadership Forum for making this event possible, and thank you all to the fabulous Women for Obama who have been working in towns and communities across the country, who've been an invaluable resource of ideas and energy for us from the very beginning. And I especially want to thank all of you for coming here today. I know that many of you have traveled long distances to be here, and Barack and I are so grateful for your commitment to this campaign. We know that you have a special few days in store right here in Chicago, and we hope you have a fantastic time. This is a great city. Get out of the hotel, eat in a restaurant, go shopping. I know that you folks also heard from Joe Biden earlier today, and wasn't he great? And I'm so glad that his wonderful, beautiful, gorgeous wife, Jill, is here as well. Jill and I have been, Yay for Jill. Yay for Jill. I have to tell you, Jill and I have been having a great time traveling around the country together, meeting with women and students and families and hearing their stories and sharing our own, sharing stories about our lives and our kids and our husbands and their visions for the future of this country. The Bidens are special people. And I don't just mean Joe and Jill, but I mean their kids and their grandkids, the brothers and the sisters, the nieces and the nephews. It's a lot of them, the whole Biden clan. And one of the many unexpected bonuses of this campaign has becoming friends, all of us, from Barack to Joe and Jill to me, right on down the line. And I'll never forget one night in particular. I've told this story before during the convention in Denver. I had just delivered this big speech, probably the biggest speech of my life. And I thought I did pretty well. But then I headed backstage. I was with the girls, and they looked up at me very excited. Malia said, "Ma, we got something to tell you." And I was like, "What?" And she said, "We have to have a sleepover." Sleepover. Just like that. The bright lights and the applause were over. And I snapped right back into mommy mode like nothing. And the next night, we had Sasha and Malia and the Biden granddaughters and the friends of everybody else there. There were about 15 kids giggling all night long on the floor of our hotel room. That's when I knew for certain that we were a great team. Again, not just Barack and Joe, but all the Obamas and all the O'Bidens. That's what I've been calling us, the O'Bidens. We just clicked, and there's no family that I'd rather be sharing this adventure with than the Bidens, and I'm so glad that Joe and Jill are here today. Let's give them another round of applause. So let me tell you, it is such a treat for me to take a break from campaigning and to spend some time with all of you. With just 25 days left, yay. Until we elect a new president and a new vice president of the United States. Yes. Can you believe we have come this far? Isn't this an exciting time for our nation? Isn't this exciting? For 20 months, as Barack and I have traveled to every corner of the country, we have seen so much. We've seen young people finding their voices and casting their votes for the first time. And we've seen not so young folks. Let's hear it for the not so young folks too. Who haven't felt this way about an election in years, many say. Folks, who are knocking on doors and making phone calls and holding signs in the rain and the snow. I've seen folks who are in their 60s and 70s who come up to me and grab my arm on a rope line and they say, "Michelle, I've never voted before in my life, and this will be the first time, but I want to be a part of this." And while I'd like to give all the credit of all that's going on to Barack, because I love him and he's cute, the truth is, as I always say and as he always says, this campaign has only been possible because of all of you and the millions of people who have made this movement for change a reality. And each of us has our own story of how we came to be part of this movement. As you know, I come here as a wife, and I've watched my husband for a year and a half, and I know in my heart that he will be an extraordinary president. But I also come here as a mom whose girls are the center of our world, and I think about them always. They are the first thing I think about when I wake up, the last thing I think about before I go to bed. Their future and all our children's future is my stake, is our stake in this election. And as you know, I come here as a daughter, talk about my story everywhere I go. Raised just a few minutes here from this hotel on the south side of Chicago, here for the south side. I was raised by a father who was a blue-collar city worker and a mother who stayed at home with me and my brother. And as you know, as I've said before, my father was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis in his early 30s, but even as it got harder for him to walk and dress himself in the morning, he never complained, never showed disappointment. He just woke up a little earlier and worked a little harder. And it's thanks to my parents' faith and their hard work and that my brother and I were both able to go to some of the best schools in the country. And it's these perspectives, it's these experiences that have kept me going every day on this very long campaign. See, because the issues at stake in this election, like how we're going to address this economic crisis and help working families, whether we're going to fix a broken healthcare system that is bankrupting families, and how are we going to make sure our kids get the education they deserve and the opportunities to pursue their dreams. You see, these issues, it's not just about politics. This is personal. And I know it's personal for everyone in this room, everyone in this country, and for all the women that Barack and I have met all across this country, it is personal. Everywhere I go, Barack and I, we meet folks who are doing everything that's asked of them and more, but still they just can't seem to get ahead. See, they're struggling to pay for gas and groceries. They're worried about how they're going to afford college for their kids and retirement for themselves. They're putting off going to the doctor and getting those checkups and those mammograms that they know they need, but they just can't afford the co-payments, or they don't have insurance at all. And every night when they tuck their kids in bed, they wonder, what kind of world are we going to be leaving for them? And I know that's a question that all of us carry in our hearts every day. And everywhere that Barack and I go, and everywhere that Joe and Jill go, we hear people calling for change. They're saying it's time for new solutions because the old ways just won't do. It's time for policies that reflect our reality and express our values. That's what folks are saying. They say it's time for leaders who get it. And you know, and I know, that the special thing about Barack is that he gets it. See, Barack gets it. Barack gets it because he's been there. That's what I've been trying to tell people for 20 months. I've been going from state to state, sharing Barack's story with everyone I meet, because when you hear his story, you understand his values, you know who he is, you understand his priorities. When you know his story, you know what kind of leader he's going to be. I tell folks about how he was raised by a young single mom, 18 years old, who worked so hard to put herself through school and to raise them talk about how she died of ovarian cancer at the age of 53, and how Barack will never forget that what it was like during her final months when she was laying in her hospital bed, fighting with the insurance company over whether they'd cover her treatment because they claimed that cancer was a pre-existing condition. And I tell folks about how lucky Barack and I were, that we could go to some of the best colleges and law schools this country had to offer, but I tell them how our educations came at a cost. I tell them how we just finished paying off our student loans just a few years ago. And I tell them about how after college, when the whole world was open to Barack, and he could have gone anywhere and done anything with his life, but he turned down a future on Wall Street because he felt called to serve. So he came right back here to Chicago, and he made this city his home. He spent years working in neighborhoods that were devastated when steel plants shut down and jobs dried up. He worked setting up job training to get people back to work and after-school programs to keep kids safe, turning those neighborhoods around block by block. So I explained to people, I'm just trying to explain to people that Barack Obama gets it. He understands the heartbreak of a broken healthcare system. He knows how important it is to open the doors of higher education to all young people, no matter where they're from or how much money they have. He knows what middle-class families across this country are going through, and he's determined to give folks a chance to just get ahead again. See, and that's why he's going to be the president that our country needs right now, not in 4 years or in 8 years, but he's the person that we need in the White House right now. Barack Obama is going to be a president who makes sure that instead of just talking a good game about family values, that we actually have policies that value families. So now, America has a choice to make. And when I look at the issues and the candidates and their plans for our future, and when I think of all the families I've met across this country and the kind of help that they could really use right now, see, for me, the choice is clear. There's only one team that will make our economy strong again, with a plan built around the middle class, who'll give a tax cut to 95% of all working families, who'll stop giving tax breaks to companies that ship jobs overseas and start rewarding companies that create jobs right here in America. And a few weeks ago, Lilly Ledbetter, the brave woman who took her fight for equal pay all the way to the Supreme Court, she endorsed Barack for president. I love Lilly. She's a strong woman, and as she put it, these were her words. She said, "There's only one candidate who has stood up for women like me. And let me tell you, there's only one team in this race that will fight to end pay discrimination so that women are paid fairly for our work once and for all, that fight is over. There's only one team with a health care plan that is going to cover all Americans and cut costs for families. Only one team with a long-term energy plan that looks beyond quick fixes and makes real investments in renewable energy so that we can end our dependence on foreign oil and protect our planet for our kids and our grandkids. See, there's only one team who is talking at all about a comprehensive plan to invest in schools and early childhood education. One team with a plan to recruit an army of new teachers and make college affordable to students from all different backgrounds. There's only one team, and there's only one team in this race with a plan to bring our troops home from Iraq responsibly, so we can rebuild our military and then start investing that $10 billion we're spending every month in Iraq right here at home instead. And I know I don't have to tell you who that team is. That team is Barack Obama and Joe Biden, for sure. See, it's their ideas and their leadership that are what we need in the White House right now. But see, first, as many have said before, our job is to send them to the White House. Our work isn't finished yet. See, we're so grateful for everything that you've done for this campaign, but we can't stop now. When we first began this journey 20 months ago, I told Barack, I said, babe, no matter how hard you work, you can only get us 70% of the way there. I remember telling him that, and I told him that a lot throughout the course of this 20 months, and quite frankly, as far as I'm concerned, Barack has gotten us 80% of the way. Barack has done his job. Let's just look at what he's done in 20 months. He has built a grassroots organization that has surpassed anything we've seen in our history. He has inspired millions of people to volunteer in every state in the nation. He has broken every fundraising record, thanks to the generosity and the support of folks like all of you. Every record he's broken. Barack has unified a party. He has picked a phenomenal running mate who is his equal, his partner. He's had 2 phenomenal debates, and he'll have another one next week. And he has confronted some of the toughest issues that we face in this nation, issues of religion and race, and he's done it with eloquence and compassion and empathy to help us all expand our understanding of one another. You see, every step of the way, he has run this campaign with honor, and I couldn't be more proud of him. So he's gotten us 80% of the way there, and now the remaining 20%'s on us. It's on us. There are still 25 days left till Election Day, and a lot can happen in 25 days. And look, we are facing a tough opponent who is running a tough campaign. So we have to stay focused on what we're fighting for. And that's a better country for our families. And it's a better future for our children. That's the fight. There's serious issues at stake here, and they demand a serious conversation. So even as the pressure builds and Election Day grows closer, we can't forget that we're all in this together. Democrats, Republicans, independents, all of us. We're all facing the same future, and we will rise and fall together, just like we always have in this country. So see, we can't afford to turn on each other now. Like us, we know that our opponents have strong views, and we respect those views. We respect their right to argue for their ideas with vigor and with passion. But we can disagree without becoming disagreeable. We can challenge one another's positions without challenging each other's patriotism. We can have a great debate about how to lead this country without suggesting that anyone doesn't love this country. You see, we all love this country. That's why we're doing this. That's why we're doing this. We want to help keep America strong and fair and free, a place where everyone has the opportunity to pursue their dreams. And haven't we had enough of politics that divide us? Don't we owe it to each other to be better than that? So let's live by example for a change. Let's keep fighting for what we believe in without ever resorting to tearing each other down. And between now and November 4th, the leadership of women will be critical. because we all know when you need something done, women get it done. So I'm asking you, I'm pleading with you, talk to your friends and your neighbors and your colleagues. Sit down with your mothers and your daughters and your sisters and your girlfriends and tell them about the issues at stake in this election and the impact that our choice will have on the lives of women and families. None of us can afford to sit this one out. We have women here from almost every state in the country. All of you either live in a swing state or you live near a swing state. So when you get home, start knocking on those doors. Start working on the phones. Share your story and your passion for change with as many women as you can. And help us get the vote out for Barack and Joe. It's never been more important that all women make their voices heard. And if we keep reaching out to folks, one conversation at a time, if we keep educating them about the issues at stake in this election, and if we maintain the great energy and enthusiasm that we've had today all the way to November the 4th, then we can make history together. We can elect Barack Obama and Joe Biden president and vice president of the United States. And we will finally bring the change we need to the country that we love. Thank you. Thank you so much.